This conference will now be recorded.
All right, good afternoon and welcome to the Clear Lines training session. I am your host, Kipp Cohen. It is Tuesday, the 21st of May, 2019. I am here for the next 60 minutes, or a little less than that possibly, to review the Clear Lines indicator running on the Medved Trader platform. I'm here specifically to answer your questions and to give you an overview of our Clear Lines indicator. This is a twice weekly training session geared towards the subscribers of Clear Lines or those that are interested in subscribing with the Clear Lines indicator, subscribing to it. If you'd like information on that, if you're not currently a subscriber, you can email me directly at kip@equity-alerts.com, or you can go to, and I need to actually write that on here. Let me give you the link. There you go. For information on Clear Lines, you can just go to equity-alerts.com/clear-lines.asp, or just go to the equity-alerts.com website and click on the Clear Lines tab. Here we go. This session is being recorded and will be posted to our YouTube page, the Equity-Alerts YouTube page. You can get to that by going to our equity-alerts.com homepage and clicking on the YouTube link right at the top of the page. That'll take you to our videos where I post these. And there are quite a few of them now. If you click on the video, there will be a description of what's on the video as well. If there is not a specific topic that you guys wanted me to cover today, I think what I wanted to focus on again in this session is talking about utilizing the Clear Lines along with some of the other indicators that I currently am using on a daily basis. So we'll talk about a couple of different things. But if you do have a specific question for me, you are welcome to write that into the go-to meeting player. There's a Q&A ask question segment there. You can click on it, send me a question directly. You can also text me or email me, kip@equity-alerts.com, or text me at 972-841-8886. All right. And I don't have any questions at this point. So let me talk about a few things. First of all, for anyone that might be a first-time viewer here, let me tell you a little bit about the Clear Lines indicator. It is a momentum-based indicator, okay? It is momentum-based. It measures buying and selling momentum. All right. It is a proprietary indicator. It is very closely built off of the prior Wise Trade algorithm, the Wise Trade indicator, which measured buying and selling momentum or buying and selling pressure. It is not the exact same algorithm. It is not the exact same indicator, but it is as close as I could get without violating any laws. Now, of course, now WiseTrade is technically out of business, although the intellectual property is owned by Ally Invest. So I didn't want to break any laws and risk any legal issues. So we came up with something pretty much as close as we could get. My developer was a former programmer for WiseTrade and was intimately knowledgeable with the algorithm, and so that's basically how we developed it. And of course, it is written on to run on the Medved Trader platform. That is currently the only platform that you can access it from. It is displayed, as you can see, as a red and green line. Let me turn off that's what it looks like without the candlesticks. It is, what was I going to say? It does, oh, yeah, I was going to say, it does offer something that WiseTrade did not offer. You'll notice the up and down arrows. They are confirmation of a trend reversal. So when the lines cross and lock, you get an up and down arrow. And what we're finding is when you can get, especially for active trading or intraday trading, when you get a 1 minute, 3 minute, and a 5 minute all locking in, that's typically a pretty strong trend reversal. Just like we see on Apple, you had a 1 minute, a 3 minute, and a 5 minute, all three indicators, once after the other lined up, and then boom, we caught a beautiful, or could have caught a beautiful reversal on Apple that was good for about 75, 80 cents. And actually, I mentioned this in our live webinar. I was not on the webinar broadcasting. Lindsay was on, but I typed it into the general chat. I mentioned Apple was looking good as a short because it was at the highs of the day and was at a Fibonacci level, which goes into my first question from Joe. The question is, I would like to see the layout with your fibs and indicators that you are currently trading. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to unhiding that. I'm going to show you, first of all, let me give you a written description of my layouts, okay? So I use 3 different time frames. I follow 3 different time frames. I use a half minute and a 1 minute on the first one. The half minute I use typically in the first 20 to 30 minutes of the trading day because of the volatility. And then I've switched that to a 1 minute. On the Medved platform, on that 1 minute, half minute, 1 minute, I use what's called their current day data. So it's going to give me from pre-market through the current time, okay? They call it the current day data. And then I am using, as far as indicators on that half minute, 1 minute, I am using clear lines, I'm using volume, I'm using daily pivots, I'm using parabolic stop and reverse, I'm using the DeMark pivot and the Fibonacci pivot. And I've also just added, just recently, I'm also watching a slow stochastic. Okay, I've recently added a slow stochastic, and I'm just using that more just for, it's not, it's something I'm kind of more testing, but I do have that on my current chart. Okay. So, and I'm typically right at the open, pretty highly focused on that chart. And then my next window to the right of that is my 3-minute. On that one, for extended hours, I use always. That's going to use for every day pre and post market data, not just the current day only, but every day. So what happens is it gives you a little different calculation for the pivot points when you're using always using Medved, because it's taking into consideration pre and post market and current day for as far back as however it calculates pivot points, DeMark, Fibonacci pivots, and VWAP. I also include Bollinger Bands on the 3-minute chart. So, and volume weighted average price. So 3-minute has clear lines, volume, pivot points daily, volume weighted average price. So I don't have the parabolic stop and reverse. I switched that out. I have VWAP. Then I do have the DeMark pivot, the Fibonacci pivot, and the Bollinger Bands. The reason I use the DeMark and the Fibonacci on both of those is because depending on if it's showing, if there's like a lot of movement in the pre-market, especially over the last several days, you're going to get some variances compared to just the current day. And I want to see that because sometimes you'll get reversals on one of those charts from one time frame versus the other. And then I have my third chart is one I float between a 5 and a 15-minute. It's set to 5, but if I need to draw Fibonacci's, I'll switch to 15. Sometimes I do that on the 3-minute. I'll switch to 15 and draw the Fibonacci levels. But on the 15, I only use the clear lines, the volume, and the daily pivots, and then I also put the VWAP on there as well, the volume weighted average price. The reason we use volume weighted average price is it tends to be a good intraday target when you're looking for potential price movement to get to. It's really good for that. So this is what I use for my layout. Okay, these are the indicators. These are the time frames. These are the settings. And then typically this is 50 bars. I think, am I using one? Yeah, 100 and 100 on the 100 bars and 100. You can adjust those based on your own personal preference, but this is what I like for me. All right. Okay, so I want to point out what I was looking at earlier on Apple, and I'm gonna load up this chart. I'm gonna go to a 15-minute, and I'm gonna actually undraw this, or I'm gonna erase the annotations on the chart. So for us, one of the things that we really like to utilize when trying to find potential reversal points, one thing is that we really like is the first 15-minute Fibonacci level, the Fibonacci extension. And I want to thank, because I know he's here, I want to thank Pippin, because Pippin is the one that introduced that to me. And that first 15-minute range tends to be a good measuring point for Fibonacci extensions. So when you're on the 15-minute chart, if you go to your Fibonacci drawing tool, okay, so if the price is breaks above the first 15-minute, you start at the top of the candle and then you draw it down. That draws the extension up. And if it's going the opposite direction, you start at the bottom and going the other way, and it draws it down. These levels tend to be pretty accurate. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the 3-minute now. And I'm actually just going to show, yeah, we'll just leave it here. Okay, because this is just after market open. I could go maybe 120 bars. That would probably show the current, most of the current day. Yeah, that's most of the current day. Okay. So this is the key chart you really want to focus in on because it's got a lot of great information in it. This is where I see my volume weighted average price. This is where I see some of my all session pivot points and using that 3-minute Bollinger Band is quite important. So this morning, obviously it broke out of the first 15-minute high. That was right here. That was the breakout. It ran up and got pretty darn close to the 200% fib of the first 15-minute. Missed it by probably 10 or 15 cents. Okay. It reversed, and you'll notice, what did it do? It found a huge support on that 1618. It ended up breaking that support, went down to the 127. That was also traveling along the bottom of the Bollinger Band. Turned around, broke out, ran back up, hit the top of the band. Did not get back to the 200, but it got right to the top of the band, reversed, back down to, this time to the 14140, which is an institutional Fibonacci level. Okay, right here. So we had there was support, there was a resistance, there was resistance, there was some support. Okay. And then bounced off of that, and look how it just kind of kept hitting up against this 1618. It finally broke it. And where does it go when it breaks? It goes right up to the 200 fib level. What was hiding just above the 200 fib is the R1 of the all session right here, resistance 1. That proved to be pretty good resistance. So when I was in our webinar, I just happened to say, hey guys, Apple just hit up, it's up at the high of the day, and it's right at the 200 of the first 15-minute. And my comment was, this is probably going to be a good reversal point. Sure enough, it rolls over, we get a confirmation arrow right here, and it proceeds to reverse, actually coming back down to the 1618 and kind of jogging along it. And then in just the last few minutes, it broke below the 1618. So where would our targets be? Well, there's a huge obvious target is right here. This is the volume weighted average price and the 127 Fibonacci level. So somewhere around 186.75 would be an ideal target for Apple. I can go back to my 1 minute. Let me clear all this off. Okay, let's go back to the 1 minute, because we might see something else in the 1 minute that we're not going to see on the 3, because that uses just the current day data. So you'll notice there's no R1 up here, because this is using current day versus the other one that was using all data, pre-post market for every day. Okay. So the only helpful thing here was on the 1 minute was the 200% fib level. But you'll also notice a couple other things. You had a reversal arrow here, and then a second one here, and then you got one more right here confirming the reversal as it broke through that 200% fib. The other thing that I said I like to use on a 1 minute is a parabolic stop and reverse. So that parabolic stop and reverse, whoops, let me clear that out again. You'll notice right here, there's a crossover arrow and a parabolic stop and reverse occurring at the same time. So this was a pretty good confirmation when you had both of those crossing over, and that was a good move down right to the 1618. It was about 70 cents, 75 cents reversal. And then the 5-minute, let me pull the 5-minute chart over from my other screen. The 5-minute also gave a confirmation arrow. Now that was already down quite a bit by the time it locked in, but it was popping probably right as this candle started. And gave its confirmation. And look, we're getting another breakdown right now. And where did I tell you this thing was probably going to go? Hold on. Where did I tell you this was going to go? There's a magnet right here. Guess where it's almost at? It's less than 20 cents from that magnet. That's the 127 and VWAP. It's a huge magnet. These indicators together, along with the clear lines, work so well. So well. Alan says, if the first 15-minute candle and wicks are very small, the readings are too compact. Did you use the previous day? Yeah, when you've got a small first 15-minute, it's not really going to be very useful. So you could use the prior day range. You would need to measure the prior day high-low. And so do you have an example of something that has a small range for me on that level, on that first 15-minute that I could measure prior day? I would be happy to do that if you have a stock maybe that I could. I can't think of one offhand right now that's got a hold on. Oh, come on. Yeah, let me know if you've got one. And I mean, I'll try to look at a couple stocks. I can't think of anything. It doesn't happen often, but remember, this works best with stocks that are moving around that have some good trading range. If it's a tight range stock, it's not one we want to trade anyways. And if it's got a small 15-minute range, it's probably not going to be moving around a whole lot that day. We're looking for stocks with movement. Stocks with very little first 15-minute ranges typically are not going to be ideal. Let me think. Let's look at something like Cisco or Intel. Well, even, Cisco had a pretty good first 15-minute candle, right? Kind of bounced off the 14140, reversed at the 236. Let's look at Intel. I'm just trying to think of something that might have a small first 15-minute range. Intel. Wow, look at that reversal right at the 200. Oh, this is actually really nice. Okay, because you had a reversal right at the 200, and look what it did. It just bounced right along that 100, which is the high of the first 15-minute, went up to the 127, back down, and then went up to the 14140, which is the institutional fib, down to the 786. So, I mean, it almost to a T is following along those fib levels. All right, so you say Square. Well, Square had a pretty big first 15-minute fib. or first 15-minute range, excuse me. So it had a big range. What it did is it just went into a tight range. And as it went into a tight range, what did it do? It kind of stuffed itself in between the 50% fib, that was the peak, and the bottom was the bottom of the Bollinger Band, kind of between the 618 and the 50. But it did break below a couple times, actually getting close to the 786. So that actually did have a pretty good range on that first 15 minute. I'm trying to think of something, you know, that's not real. It might be hard to find something. BAC works every day. It says Pippin. Yeah. I mean, there are so many stocks on a daily basis that kind of fall under this first 15 minute. Well, here, let's do this. You can also, let's say BAC didn't give us a big first 15. You can always measure the high low of the prior day range, but see, like that didn't give you, it didn't do much. You were better off using the first 15 minute. I prefer the first 15 minute because it is a measure of today's activity. You know, there's typically the first 15 minutes typically gives you it's going to give you an idea of the day range. I mean, look at the first 15 minute on Square. That was the high low of the day. It just tightened into that band. So here's one, Momo, that initially you would have drawn it downwards because it was going lower, but then it turned around and went the other way. It didn't get quite to the 127. So that really wasn't so helpful in that scenario. You would have had to turn it around. Now, when it turned and went the other way, you flip it and go the opposite direction. Now that became helpful because it reversed at the 14140, the institutional fib level. And then interestingly, look where it bounced this afternoon, right off of the volume weighted average price. It bounced off of the VWAP. So there is a high propensity of these stocks to trade off of these levels. And with the indicators that we're using, we're improving our accuracy. Here, look at this also. On Momo, when it hit that 14140, we also were on the Fibonacci resistance 2 right here of the all session. Fibonacci resistance 2 of the all session. This is why I say it's helpful to use these multiple time frame indicators. There it was right there, Fibonacci resistance 2. So now there's going to be certain stocks, and we'll look at like this one that gap down huge today. This BCRX was a big dropper today. It's going to probably be pretty hard to read. Where's our first 15 minute? Hold on. There's the first 15. Let's go down to the 3. Well, it bounced off of the 14140. That was our support. Went a little below it, but it hit it, bounced, hit it, went a little below it, and then bounced off of the 14140. And then where did it reverse or go to? The 786. So even on a stock like this, measuring that level provided us with a range for points of inflection where we could be watching for a turnaround. All right, let's look at some more stocks. Any questions about this? Any questions about how we utilize this, and any about the indicators that we're using? These are all indicators available on the Medved Trader platform that we utilize. That's the one thing I love about Medved, is that there are so many technicals available. You know, I haven't counted the number, but that's got to be close to 100. $950, 4, 55, 56, 7, 58, 59, 60, 61, 64, 65, 66, 80, 81, 82, 100. $150 different indicators that they give. That's awesome. 150 different indicators on the Medved platform. Joe says, thanks, Kipp. That was very helpful. The Medved guys are great on support too. They are very good on support. Yeah, they're very quick to respond, very helpful. But yeah, 150 different indicators. I don't want to like there. I do believe you can get information overload. So I don't want to get too crazy, but I'm pretty happy with what the list of indicators that we currently are working with right now. Here, let's do this. Let me go to my NASDAQ 100 list. Maybe we'll find something there that looks interesting. I need to get an updated list of the NASDAQ 100. I don't know how current my list is. All right, let's look at Fox. Maybe it has a okay, that doesn't even look right. Hold on, I need to restart real quick. Something doesn't look right. Kip, Joe says, Kip, for newbies, can you show how to set up 3 different minute lights showing how pin has to be different colors so they don't sync? Yeah, give me just a second. So you want 3 different minutes so that they don't sync up? You don't want all together? So you're going to be looking at 3 different stocks, basically. Okay, I don't understand why Fox is looking the way oh, is Fox? That's weird. I don't understand why it's not giving me more data. It's like it's only giving me the current day. That's bizarre. But here's an example. See how the first 15 minute it went past it because the first 15 wasn't a big range. So sometimes what you have to do in instances like that is go to the first 30 minute instead of the first 15. You go to the first 30 and then you draw that candle. So it went to the 4236 of the first 30-minute candle. So that's an option that you can consider if it goes beyond the first 15 minute. Let me load a different stock in here. I don't know why there's like something jacked up. There we go. Now it's okay. 1 minute, 3 minute, 1 minute, 3 minute, and then 5 and 5. So, okay, so basically, Joe, my top row, okay, the 1, 3, and the 5 is over off on my other window. You'll notice the pins are all blue, okay? The reason for that is, so you'll notice I have a blue pin here. So it ties, this is linking, window linking, okay? It ties this watch list to these charts. Down here, this is green, okay? These are linked together, and there's a third one off to the right that's also green. So if I type in one of these windows, in any one, it's going to populate the other ones that have the same green linking. It's just a linking, window linking. So my top row is tied into the watch list. If I click on any stock in my watch list, it's only going to load it to the top charts. Now I can switch here and go green, and then it'll switch on the lower list. So I can go back and forth between the two if I want to. You can switch the linking between the two different lists. And depending on how many screens you have, or you could also have multiple watch lists. You could have one watch list that links one group of charts and another watch list that links another group of charts. It just depends on how much real estate, how much Windows screen space you have, how much real estate you have in your monitors. But theoretically you could have 3 or 4 watch lists and tie them each to different groups of charts and be able to click quickly through those charts. Yeah, I'm gonna have to find out why it does that, Rod. I'm not sure what's causing that. And it's a very random thing. I don't know. Rod, do you have TD Ameritrade as your data source? Okay. It's probably something related to TD Ameritrade. Let me try that again. I'm messaging the Medved guys to ask about that. See, well now I'm getting my 100 bars. Oh, I wonder if it was on the 15 minute. See, it was only on the 15 minute. See, if I go to the 3 minute, it's okay. Actually, it's only giving current day. Huh. on that chart. On this chart, I'm asking them about that. That's weird. Yeah, it's doing that on all the charts. But like here, you know, I can scroll back prior days. So I don't quite understand why that happens sometimes. I'm assuming it's a TD Ameritrade issue, is my guess, because it's random. Okay, yeah. Jerry says, yeah, that's a common issue. That's a TD Ameritrade issue. So we just have to live with the occasional. Oh, he says he can email them and they can fix it. So if you ever have one of those, you can just request to have it corrected. Just send an email to Medved and they'll send it over to TD. Oh, let's go back to Apple and see what's happening with Apple. Did it hit our target or not? Oh, it got so close. So close. Well, the day's not over. We still have some time. But I told you guys that the target's going to be this 127 and the volume weighted average price. Basically 186.75. It got within 11, 12 cents so far is the closest. Let's see. And where are we at on the market? Are we still, oh, we're still up almost 200 points. That's probably the only thing that's holding Apple up right now is the fact that we have not really pulled back this afternoon. The other really great thing I like about the Medved platform is that the way windows kind of lock in together. So when you're moving and adjusting, that snap feature is really nice. But I do want to see if we get there on Apple. That would be a good testament to the power of the VWAP and the fib levels if we can get there. Any other questions right now? We just have a little over 10 minutes to go in the trading day and in this training session. Is there something else I can show you guys? Today I felt like just spending again some more time on my indicator and the indicators that we're utilizing every day, because again, we're finding that the mix is really great. And if you have not currently started, if you don't currently have a subscription to the Clear Lines and Medved, I would encourage you to try it out. Medved, you can try out Medved by itself. They give a free 30-day trial, and then it's $19.99 a month. If you have an Ally Invest account, there's no charge to access the Medved Trader platform, as long as you have a funded Ally Invest trading account, and you're making trades out of it. If you've got a funded account and there's no activity, they do charge you $7.50 a month for the quotes. And then if you want to add the Clear Lines, that's an additional $59 a month. I don't give a free trial to Clear Lines because typically I spend time with you, getting you set up, helping you create your layout. I provide these ongoing training sessions, and I think it's a very fair, minimal expense for what you get. So I don't know if we're going to get there. It looks like the 14140, the institutional fib level, might end up being that support line that holds up going into the close. It could still break it, but I don't know. With 10 minutes to go in the day and the Dow's hanging on to a 200-point gain and the NASDAQ up over 80 points, it's not looking like a little end of the day sell-off here. So, Peter, you look to be new to this session. Are you a former Wise trader, or just stumbled across us and interested in learning more? Just curious. And Pippin, how you doing? How are things going over at your place? You still got all the girls hanging out with you, trading every day? I'm sure it's a crazy, crazy place. The girls and two guys. Wow. So how many people every day now over there? Wow. That's crazy. 11 of y'all trading together. It's got to be a lot of fun, I'm sure. All right, we're trying to push down. I'd be curious if we get there. It might make it. That is the yes, Joe. That is the Pied Pippin. That is the original Pippin. All right, here we go. We're making the push down. We are making the push. It's just hitting the bottom of the Bollinger Band right now on the 3-minute. We've got about another dime to go, and we're going to hit the volume weighted average price, which was the target Oh, here we go. Oh, looky there. Bam, right to it. Touched it. That's what I was looking for. See, guys? Oh, that's cool, Pippin. He says the best part is watching them grow every day. They have a great teacher. You're a good man to take care of those kids and educate them. All right, Apple went right to where we were looking. So this is the power of using first 15-minute fib levels, the volume weighted average price, the Bollinger Bands, the pivot points that we use. I mean, look at that. It stretched right down to it and bounced. Got right to it, touched it, and popped right back up. That was $1.20 drop from that peak. A little more, $1.25 from the peak to the valley, about $1.25 move. And again, it was pretty clear right here. Let's go to the 1 minute so you can see that on the one. Here was that top. We got down, a couple bounces, and then right to the Fibonacci level. You wouldn't have seen the VWAP on the, unless you had it. You could have put the VWAP on here, but right here's, hold on. I have VWAP here. I just had it turned off. See, there's your VWAP. So you can see it touched it. That's the 1 minute. But that's how great these indicators are together. Oh, it's retesting it right now. Joe says, I want to thank Pippin for all he taught all of us. And Pippin says, we got 54 cents on Apple just now. From just watching from here, from me, from my showing you. He says, yep. Look at that. Pippin traded Apple off of me showing it right here. Picked up 54 cents. Way to go. Very nice. That's awesome. That is awesome. Actually, it just broke it, guys. It just broke through. So it's going lower. You got 100% down below there at 186.32. I don't know if it can get there in 5 minutes, but it just broke it. It went right through the bottom of the Bollinger Band too. Wow, that was amazing. That's awesome. So Pippin watching my free training session, making money. Nice. If you have questions about clear lines or you're interested in subscribing to clear lines, just go to equity-alerts.com, click on the clear lines tab. You'll see some information as well as how to get signed up. You are also welcome to email me. Kipp@equity-alerts.com. You're welcome to call. Be happy to take a phone call, 972-841-8886. If for some reason I don't answer, I might be on a training session or something else, just leave me a message, please. I do get a lot of bogus phone calls since I put my number out there. You can always text me too. If you text me, say you want to talk, I'll call you back as well. Let's watch, let's see where we get on Apple here in the last couple minutes, and then we're going to wrap it up for the day. If there's any other questions, please, we've got just another couple minutes to go. Go ahead and shoot those through, but I do want to thank you guys for being here today. And those of you that are already subscribers, I appreciate your business. I appreciate your loyalty. And if you're not, love to have you on board with us. Looks like we're actually going to close, Apple may close at or below the level we were looking at. The other great thing about the Medved platform, I just want to point out, there is a little clock on there. It tells you when the market's closing, current time. So we know we've got 1 minute and 45 seconds left. I like that feature too, and you can use different clocks, which is really neat, depending on where you live or what you like to follow. Pippin, I appreciate you popping in here. And I also appreciate your what you shared with us over the years. It's been very helpful for me and for a lot of our members, as Joe mentioned. All right, we've got less than a minute to go. Apple is continuing its move down. We're going to actually end up closing below the target that we had selected, below the 127. Look at that. It's pushing right down to the 14140 right now. That was the other target, the next level down. I'm sorry, the 100, excuse me, the 100, which is the first 15-minute high. So basically, that first 15-minute level, Apple went up above it to the 200 and came all the way back down to the 100. And we're going to end the day pretty much at the top of the first 15-minute high. And that's the power of using those Fibonacci's. And the markets are just about to close. Boom, we're closed, and Apple is going to close right on. Look at that. Actually, it's going to close just above. Oh, nope. Hold on, they haven't picked the close yet. All right, so it's going to close in the middle between the 100 and the 127. But anyway, pretty cool stuff. If you want to learn more, again, email me, Kipp at equity-alerts.com, or check us out, equity-alerts.com, for more information. Thanks for being here, and you guys have a great evening. I'll be back on Thursday. Bye-bye.